Hey guys, what is going on? No. What's up, guys? Hope you guys are having a good weekend, at least an end to it. We're getting ready to do the Labor Day thing, I guess. So hello to everybody out there. Thought I'd pop on here for a minute. Actually had a fantasy football draft that I do, and it probably doesn't interest a whole lot of you, but it is something I look forward to every year. It allows me to get with some of my friends and stay connected, you know. But yeah, there's some more stuff going on, guys. We got to pay attention to this because this is something that's ongoing, you know. After my stream last night, I kept, you know, watching what was going on, and we are most definitely having some earthquakes, and we're going to take a look at that. So, yeah. Let me see what I can do about getting this chat over here. Let me bring that up there. Oh, goodness. Oh, man. Yeah. Let's see here. Where did my chat go? Is it over here somewhere? Oh, there it is. I see. So, I'm going to bust that back down to nothing. There's that chat. And, yeah. So, I will, let's go to that. Bring this around. Hope you guys are having a really good weekend, though. You know, enjoy the time we got, guys. You know, this is Labor Day, and any of us that are that work most definitely deserve it. You know, most definitely deserve to see see some of this stuff. You know, get some time off and all that. I don't know why that's doing that to me, but hold on just a minute. I'm gonna see if I can't fix that. There's that, but that's not gonna help me. I need to make sure that I'm just gonna close that out again. Let's bring this up. Sorry guys, still working out the kinks. I'm getting a little bit better at this, but we are still working out some of the kinks. That's for sure. Maybe if I I don't know if I go there. So yeah. Well, I guess I'll just bring the live chat up on my phone. Give me a second here, guys. I was hoping I wouldn't have to do that again, but I am going to get that figured out. It's driving me nuts. It most certainly it irritates me when I can't get the technical end of it, you know, figured out, because I'm actually pretty decent at it. I did it for 20 years. Worked on a lot of $1 million printers. I worked on $1 million printers every day. We made food containers, and you know, liked the job. Well, I liked the job until it started changing, and I love the people. They're my family pretty much. And it was hard to have to quit that place. It was yeah, didn't really wasn't really my choice, you know. My body would no longer allow me to do that job, so I had to you know, find something else to do. And it just, when your fuse sticks in your neck, lower back's all jacked up. Like I said, guys, I've had a lot of surgeries and stuff, and I don't want to bore you guys with that stuff again. But most certainly, it will get into your head. You know, guys, I sat in my house for 3 years, pretty much doing nothing, because I couldn't. You know, but you know what I figured out? I figured out that I will be that kind of a person that will work till the day I die. Because I never thought I would be that kind of, have that kind of drive to do something like that. But I sat here and it was worse. It was worse than having to work every day. And that is most definitely something that, it's not a vacation. That's the one thing people need to understand. It is not a vacation. It's not like I was down in Myrtle Beach somewhere, kicking it on the beach and going deep sea fishing and all those kinds of things. No. I was sitting here in my house looking at the same four walls, and it was yeah. And it'll get in your head, it'll depress you, it will completely just destroy your mentality. And I got kids and stuff. Even with that, it didn't keep me busy enough for my mind, enough to keep the gremlins away. But okay, so anyway, guys, we are getting like earthquakes again. So what's causing all this, guys? I know a lot of other channels have already jumped on this whole earthquake topic, and a lot of people know a lot more about this than me. But I am going to put my 2 cents in here because, space weather is affecting this, and I do think that this was, in order to understand it all the way from the beginning, I think we need to understand when it started here, at least for this event. And I'm calling it an event. It's been about a month long lasting. We had back, like I said, a little over 2 weeks ago, we had like a triangle of earthquakes right here in this area. And can you guys see that? I'm hoping you guys can see that. Can you guys hear me okay and all that? I guess I better ask that first and foremost. Can you guys give me a yes or a no on that in the chat if you could? Okay. As long as everybody can hear me. Alright, so anyway, we had those 3 earthquakes that happened there, and the one was really deep, so we were expecting to see some more action, because whenever you get those big ones that deep, that energy will usually spread out and make its way to the surface somehow. And that's most definitely what we've seen, because then it popped off the ones over in Chile. So when the ones over in Chile popped off, yeah, that one over the ones that happened over here, those were substantial. There were like 3 of them, 6 plus. At the initial onset of that event, though. Okay. Now, if you remember last night when I was doing this, actually we could go back in time here a little bit too. I might change the date on this here in a minute, because if you remember, we were, when I come on here, all that stuff was happening at first. You see these red dots? This just happened. Okay? These other ones. Now, Vanuatu got hit yesterday by a couple of them as I was talking to you. That was one of them. But now it's been hit a couple more times just within the last hour. Okay? Now that second one, you could probably argue that's an aftershock. Whether it's a true aftershock or not, I would say that it's related, obviously. Regardless if it's an aftershock or not, it's still another substantial shake. And that was a 5.7. This one right here, that was a 6.2. This initial one that got me to do this video here, or this live stream. This one here, came in at first at a 6.6. Okay, now downgrading that 0.4 is a pretty good distance to downgrade it to. Okay, a lot of times you'll see they always downgrade it some, and there's a whole lot of theories why they do that. Dutch Sense has fought with the USGS over that for years, but a 0.4 downgrade is a really substantial downgrade. So why they jacked it down that far, I don't know. All I can tell you is when this first came on here, it was a 6.6, and I didn't get to go live quick enough because I had to get it set up. But so what you're seeing here, guys, is this is an active area of the world anyway. Okay, now we know that, right? So a 6 earthquake really isn't that substantial by itself. But when you start getting all these things back to back to back, And then, you know, you can take in consideration, now we got this one here. It's going to let me click on it. And let me close that one out there. Maybe that's why I wouldn't do it. Okay. But this here, that was in the Philippines. That was a little bit earlier today. That was after I got off stream yesterday, guys. This stuff all happened after I talked to you guys yesterday. So yes, and yeah, I seen that in the chat there. Still says the default 10K deep. Yes, the 10K deep is a default. That's an automatic thing that automatically does that when they first post these things. Okay. I don't know what the actual science is behind, or the technicalities of actually figuring out the depth. I'm sure that they've got that down pretty good. And I don't really understand, you know, jumping out here and just telling everybody, hey, it's this size of an earthquake, and hey, this just happened. Yes, that's important. But let me tell you guys this too. You got to think of it this way. If you guys, say you guys were over in Vanuatu right now, and you're down here, and it's daytime, right? Because it is over there, I think. And you're on this little island over here, right off to the side here. And this earthquake pops off right there. It's going to shake. It's going to do what it did. And it's going to stop, right? Way before any of this hits the internet. Any of it hits the USGS. Yes, they're going to know immediately when it happens, but it doesn't post immediately. So any kind of thing that was going to damage or hurt somebody has already happened. Unless you get a subsequent tsunami or something. But what I'm saying here, guys, is that no matter what happens here, it's already happened before we even get to see this earthquake at all. So why can't they just wait another 10, 15 minutes or whatever it takes, an hour, whatever, to make sure that we see the depth and we get the right initial magnitude? Why jump out there and throw it there that quick? I've never understood that, because you know, for the guys that are out here, yes, they need to know that, but you're gonna know it. If you're over here, you're gonna shake. You're gonna know something's going on. So my point is, again, we have to understand that is you know, where the patience comes in. This is where you start seeing, you know, even USGS does it. But what you're seeing is, we see this with a lot of channels here on YouTube also. They'll jump out there real quick with this information, and most of the time it ends up, you know, because I did it a lot at the beginning of my channel. And I had to go back and eat a whole lot of crow because I did that. And I learned that, you know, and it was a learning process for me. And, you know, I can thank Scott for that, for telling me, hey, dude, just wait. You know, wait an hour or two. Wait 3 hours. Wait 4 hours. Whatever it takes. But, you know, if you're going to come on here and you're going to say something about, you know, like a CME or something, it takes 3 to 4 days for it to get here. Why do I have to talk about it right away if it's not going to affect anybody or anything? Why not get your ducks in a row, get the information correct, and then put it out? So I'm saying all that because USGS doesn't do that. They'll pop this out with a 6.6 and they always downgrade it. You know, all that argument could be just completely taken away if they would just wait to put the whatever they want to call that, however they're going to adjust it, but make the adjustment and then post it. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah. But as far as what's actually happening here, I do think that this is substantial, guys. If you remember, I guess I should... Let me see if I can't change the date on this real quick. Is that on this one? No, where do I change the date out on this? Is it on settings? There it is. Let's just, yeah, let's go to the 7-day, whatever, magnitude 4.5. Maybe that'll cut things back here a little bit, okay? Anything other than a 4.5, anything lower than that, it probably is not going to show up right now. I just changed the settings on this. So yesterday, if you remember right in here, you know, you had this yellow one right here. That was the 6.6 on the Atlantic Ridge, right? Well, then what happened after that? It was like 12 minutes later, this one popped off. I mean, come on, 12 minutes? that is, you know, it's on the same fault line, or the plate boundary here. 251, and then it says that was 251 there, and then this one here is 238. So 238 and 251. So there and then there, I think. No, maybe. Anyway, you guys, I showed it to you guys yesterday. So yeah, that is. It's about, yeah, that's what we're seeing. Okay. So anyway, my point is that energy traveled that fast. And it usually doesn't do that, guys. That's something that we don't usually see, you know. I really don't know what else to say about that part of it, because that was just it kind of shocked me, because I really just didn't really think I was going to see that, you know. And as I'm watching this live, because again, they're not waiting to post any of these. Who can it help other than the people right there? Now, what's going on here? Get another one here? No, it's the same ones. Okay. I think. So, yeah, you see these right here? Look. Yesterday, not 9-7. That's another one. It just popped off, guys. See that? So now we got 3 right there. That just happened. So, yeah, if people don't think something's going on here, I don't know what to say, because, you know, something is actually, you know, I actually said in my video about 3 days ago, I think it was the last edited video I did, that the quakes around the globe had almost come to a stop. The one day there was very few. And then, you know, and I made the statement that, hey, a lot of times when we see this, within the next day or two, we get a rash of a bunch of quakes. Because we don't ever want to see the quakes stop. If that ever happens, that's when we really got to pay attention, because stuff's going to happen shortly thereafter. So, you know, now what does this all mean for us? It just means it's just another thing that we have to look at, to pay attention to, because eventually, guys, these things are quake's gonna happen in the right area, and it's gonna cause some big, humongous tsunami somewhere. I mean, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. We know these things happen, and they will. That doesn't mean that it's not, you know, out of the ordinary, or it could be just normal. But that's what we're doing here. We're trying to help people by making them understand what to look for. Now, you know, if we see these kinds of stuff happening up here in the Cascadia subduction zone, you know, then we really got to have a whole lot of different discussions. Okay, you know, and I think most of us know about that. If you don't know what that is, it's this area up here, and it's said if that thing, it's slow slipping anyway. When that thing finally does go, the whole West Coast, guys, is going to be redefined. And I said this before, and I don't mean this really as a joke. I know it sounds kind of funny, but, you know, beachfront property in Arizona, it might actually be a reality. So, you know, that is what it is. But, yeah. Oh, man. So what's going on there in the chat? Good try. What'd I good try at? Let me know. That tropical fish guy. What are you guys talking about? Tropical fish guy. Let me know what that's about. Oh, I got you. Okay. But yeah. So, again, you know, I really hope that everybody is paying attention to this kind of stuff, because, you know, those of us that live kind of in the Midwest, because that's where I live, we tend to kind of not even think about this. This, you know, and I think that's when the most danger can happen. Because if we're not thinking about it at all and something does happen, then again, obviously, you get the knee-jerk reactions and you make bad decisions. So that's what's going on there, guys. So what could be causing this, guys? We were getting solar weather, you know, there for a couple days, and I do think that it did, you know, the Earth is acting like a capacitor in the sense that it did build some energy, and it did, you know, it started releasing it. And I think that's where some of these earthquakes are coming from. I really, truly do. You know, and the science backs us on that, guys. It didn't used to. It didn't used to back us on that. It is now. Thank God, because we've always said that. At least I have since I've been in this community, you know. And it's something I had to learn from watching everybody else. You know, guys, 3 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to tell you nothing about any of this at all. And it is just, it's one of those things, guys, that you almost have to just dive in and do it. Don't be afraid, okay? It's much like working on a computer, and I you know, because this is what I used to tell my father-in-law, because he was so afraid that if he pushed the wrong button, it would like blow the computer up, that kind of thing. And it's like, listen, you can't mess something up that I can't come behind you and fix. So don't be afraid of it. And it's kind of what we're doing here. You know, don't be afraid to make a mistake. Okay? Again, do your due diligence, but also don't be so timid that you won't come out and say what you actually think is happening. Even if you're wrong, you can come out and correct that. You know, but for the majority, trust your gut and move with it. And then, you know, most of the time, it's going to be the right thing to do. You know, and again, I don't jump out here and start claiming emergency this and emergency that, because I don't think that does anybody any good. You know, because this is what I want to happen. When the true emergency happens, I want to be able to come on here and say that. And when I say that, it's going to strike you guys so hard that you're going to take me serious. Because it will be serious if I ever say stuff like that. It is the same as crying wolf. You know what I mean? So I don't want to, you know, that's why I don't say this, and this, and this. You know, and I get trying to, you know, I guess add a little bit of extra adverbs and adjectives and stuff into your thumbnails just to try to draw new people in. I get that. I understand that. I really do. Matter of fact, I don't totally disagree with that. As long as it ain't just outright clickbait. That's where I start having disagreements. And if it's, you know, obviously if it's put out there in a way it's going to scare somebody, I have issues with that too. I've talked about that. But I want, you know, I don't want somebody that's watching me to hear me say things over and over and over and over again, and then they become numb to it. So when something is actually an emergency and I come out and say it, they don't listen to me. That's one of my biggest fears. You know, because I do think that those of us that have a platform like this, and we've been fortunate enough that you guys actually want to listen to what we have to say, there's some responsibility there. We can't ignore that fact. And, you know, and I see people ignoring that all the time. But, you know, you're not going to see that here. I do take it serious. I will make mistakes. I'll be the first to tell you. Okay? I'm going to make mistakes. And, you know, but I will learn from those mistakes. And I would tell you this, that the majority of the time, if I make a mistake and I'm called out on that mistake and I figure out that I was wrong, I won't make that same mistake. I won't make that same mistake again. I will remember it. So I look at it as a learning process for myself. And I think that a lot of people that are, you know, trying to get into doing what we're doing here, anything that you're doing in life really, but what we're talking about here, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to come out there with some videos and stuff. If you got something you think you need to say and you want people to hear, go do it. You know, what's the worst that can happen? Think about that. So, you know, and again, everybody has their own thing that they're going to do, and this isn't for everybody. I will say that too. That is something. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on from the earthquake thing. We'll go back to it. We'll check on it here in a second. But let me zoom out of here. What you're looking at here, guys, this is the CME tracker. Okay. Now you're going to see one pop off here. Look at this. Over here. It's going off the backside of the sun. You see that? Going off to the... it would be, I guess, if you're looking at the sun, it would be the western limb going the back way. Right? Earth is over here on this yellow ball. We know, we can see that. Now I said this the other day or yesterday. You know, most of the planets are on the same side of the sun right now. Even the ones that aren't in our inner solar system, okay? Because you got Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars in this spiral graph, okay? That's what you're looking at. And then usually they'll put, like satellites, there'll be boxes here. And I was asked a question, why do I tell you guys what this stuff like this is? Well, it helps you understand a little bit more. So I think it's important to know what that stuff is, because sometimes it does come into play. You know, there was a time here we were watching this Parker SP, this green box here close to the sun. That thing was that's the one that they sent out to the sun, and they said kiss the sun, you know. So yeah, as it's doing that, it went out there and kissed the sun. But what it was doing was you could see it, and it was kind of neat to see it, because it would get really, really fast. It would start moving really fast at certain times, and you know, I think they're kind of controlling that when it does do that. But I oftentimes wonder if they don't position this thing to see CMEs and, you know, around what we're actually seeing out there. So, you know, excuse me. Oh man, let's see here. What are they orbiting to turn them back to our sun? Oh, okay. Starry Night. I seen your question there. I'll try to answer that for you. Well, they're not really they're orbiting our sun, is what they're doing. Okay. Let me read the question here, guys. It says, if these objects are on a 28-day orbit, what are they orbiting to turn them back to our sun? Now, listen. We simply just don't know what's all out there. Okay. But we do, and we theorize that this is a system. Okay. Now, if you go look up any other solar system, you look up stars. I think the percentage is like 75% of all solar systems are binary, or at least are trinary. I think there's more trinary systems than there are even binary. And what that means is, obviously, a binary system would be 2 suns, and then a trinary would be 3. And I'm not sure if there's actually ones with 4 or 5. I don't know. But I know that those other the binary and trinary actually do exist, and they're way more common than what we thought we were, which was just a single sun. So as far as the orbit, you know, what's bringing them back to the sun? Well, that system itself is doing a dance with our sun. And whatever planets are with that main star of that, and this is it's hard to explain, but that whole thing is orbiting our sun. Okay, they're kind of dancing between each other. I would encourage you guys to, and maybe I'll show it to you guys in my next stream or my next video. Show you guys what it looks like when 2 suns are, you know, dancing with each other. So that's, you know, I just want to answer that question for you. And I guess the best answer for you right there, Starry Night, would be that, you know, we just simply don't know what is all out there, so it's kind of hard to understand exactly what the orbital mechanics would be. Now, you know, there was the object out there that we were seeing every 28 days is still doing that. So, if these other objects are orbiting that and our sun at the same time, you know, it could be anything. It could be any kind of orbital pattern, time frame. We just don't have that kind of data. We can't know that. You know, it's hard to find it. You know, me and Scott have been talking here, and we really would love to have a 3-dimensional orbital path of these things so everybody could understand it better. Okay? But we would have to have so many data points along the way that it's almost impossible for somebody like just me and him to kind of figure that out and try to, you know, put that together in a model like that. You're talking like massive, you know, bigger, smarter computers and stuff entering bunches and bunches of data points to get an orbit correct. But what I will say is that this, you know, what we've always talked about here, and the question is, why haven't we seen it before? Well, the reason is because the orbit itself was in such a long time frame, okay, and it was on a highly elliptical orbit. What that means is it was slanted big time, so it came up from the bottom. What you're looking at here, you're looking at a view from the top down of our inner solar system, okay. Let me zoom in a little bit. Maybe I can help explain this a little bit better. And this is why I wanted to do these live streams. I like this part of it because, you know, I get a question and maybe I can help answer that question. So that's what I'm doing here. So hang in there with me, guys. Anyway, here's Earth, right? Follow my cursor right here. That's Earth. Here's the sun. You see how we're orbiting? Just, you know, it's got a circular orbit here on what we're looking at, right? Well, if you could picture this on its side, which would be this, let me show you. This view right here is a side view. We're looking at the Earth from the side and the sun. So what's happening is, you see how we're orbiting like this? This object and this system we're talking about is actually coming in from the bottom and doing this. Okay? So that is the main reason why we haven't seen it like we're seeing it now. And, you know, not to mention that who knows how long, you know, is it going to get pulled on back out? What's going to happen with all this? And who knows, you know? Things change. Okay? If you look at a comet will orbit our sun multiple times until it doesn't anymore. What do I mean by that? Well, eventually, sometimes something will happen and cause that orbit to change, and the sun could eat it up, or it could get knocked way out of whack somewhere else. So, you know, it's just one of those things where we just cannot have the best answers to give on that kind of a thing. I wish, gosh, I so much wish we could, you know, have one of those, have all those data points we needed. It's just, we're just never going to have it, guys. So all we can do, the best that we can do is, you know, kind of give you our best guess on what we're seeing. Even when we show you the stuff on the satellites, we can't even really hardly give you a size on it, because we don't know how far it is away from the satellite. And that really makes it, you know, it just makes it hard. Again, me and Scott have talked about this multiple times. Just trying to, you know, is there any other ideas out there where what we could do to try to give people a better, you know, a better view or a better understanding of what we're trying to show everybody. So let me go back here just to see if we got any updates. Let's see here. Let me reset that. Oh man. Guys, they're getting rocked over there right now. Wow. Yeah. Let's zoom in here. I want to see where this is actually at. Okay. So, I'm looking at these guys, and we're looking at, you know, there's the 6.2. That was the biggest one. Alright. Did that one just happen? You guys see that? Man. So, what's that one? That's the 5.7. No, that was the one that just happened a minute ago. Okay. But you got this one here. That one happened, I think the 6.2 happened second, if I'm correct here. That's a 2259 or 5. I'm sorry. That's it. That was on the 5th. Yeah, that's an old one. Sorry, guys. I don't know what the heck I was thinking there. Let me change the date back here. That way we can get this back the way we need to. Okay, this is what we're looking at right now. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, you got this right here, and you got the 6.2, which happened at 2:12, and then you got the 5.7, which happened at 2:29, And then this one over here happened at, well, that happened first. That one happened first out here. This 5.0, that happened at about 41 minutes after the change of the day. Okay, so you know, within a couple hour period here, guys, we got some pretty decent sized earthquakes all in the same spot, roughly. And again, they're not in the exact same spot, but close enough that we're, you know, even if you zoom out, they kind of look like they're in the same area. But again, guys, what we seen yesterday and going into today now is something that doesn't happen very often. Okay. It's one of those things that, and that's why I talked about it yesterday, because it was so odd to see that. It changed my whole live stream last night because of it. I wasn't expecting to have to come on and talk about earthquakes. You know, so we got this one happening. That was earlier today. What else we got here? I just want to make sure we got everything covered here so you guys can see it. Yeah, I know I keep clicking on that, but I just want to make sure I'm not missing one. And you know, guys, then we start seeing this up here, okay? And again, that's not so out of the ordinary, but these are all 4s or above, 4.5 and above. And you can see all these. This is the past day. So we got this one up here was a 6.3 yesterday, and that's one of the ones that was the initial 5 that I had showed you guys yesterday. And you get the, you know, the 5.2, and these are all today here. Everything here is from today. So you did have one here in Iran. Now I know it's not completely out of the ordinary to see one in Iran, but it is. That's pretty far inland. Okay, when I say inland, I'm actually talking away from the boundary plates here. Okay, the fault lines. You know, like say if we seen one up in here, that would be, you know, especially if it was a big one. That would be completely odd to see something way up there. Then you got this one here that happened actually in China, which we all know we can't trust any information that we're trying to look at there. That's for sure. But up in Alaska, again, here in the States, you know, a lot of the stuff, guys, if you don't understand this, for those that don't know, when you start seeing these like in Oklahoma and here in Texas and stuff, a lot of that's fracking, okay? They're digging, they're blowing stuff up, they're looking for oil pretty much, and that's what they're doing. And it causes earthquakes sometimes, okay? Excuse me. Fishing at night. Who's fishing at night? Interesting conversation you guys are having in there. But yeah. So yeah. So we'll go over here and we'll look at this. Here's the CME tracker. Here's the Schumann, guys. The Schumann is completely normal right now. We're not seeing any kind of like funky readings or anything like that. Let me back out of that a little bit. You know, so there's nothing really a whole lot to show you there. I thought about just waiting until this morning or a little bit this afternoon to do another live stream before this one. I wasn't going to do this one, and then I seen the earthquakes and stuff started happening again. So we'll give you an update here on all the space weather and stuff, and then I'll see if you guys got any more questions, and we'll go from there. But we got, you know, solar X-ray flux is what it is. It's pretty much normal. It's actually very, very low, actually. And you got this, okay? Now, this is something, you know, guys, we were talking about the cosmic rays yesterday. I showed you guys the graph, and I showed you what radiation or cosmic rays, because that's what they turn into when the particles start getting split in half. Their half-life changes, and I'll go into a lot more depth on that at a later time. But our geomagnetic activity is actually dropping out again, and this is, you know, solar minimum conditions. That's what they call this. But what that's going to end up doing is it makes us more susceptible to cosmic rays. So, you know, some geomagnetic activity is actually needed. It actually helps us, okay? We just don't need the massive blasting right in your face type of stuff, okay? And that's what we don't want. But, you know, we can't control all that. Now, I do want to show you guys this, okay? This is something we're going to watch for the next day or two. What the heck is that thing? Why is it? I was actually zooming in and it was zooming out. That's crazy. What the heck? Kidding me? Oh, I bet it was changing the format of the... I bet that's what that was. Okay. So anyway, we'll look at the ACE data here. And again, you're seeing the dropout data here in these blocked out time frames. That's where the satellite's just in position. It can't transfer data. It's not able to communicate. So when you see it over here, same thing. And again, guys, remember I was showing you guys that figure 8. You know what, guys? I think I'll take you guys over to SDO here in a minute, just so you guys can see that. I really want you guys to see that figure 8 because it helps people understand better why we see these radio blackouts sometimes, or the communication blackouts. I'll take you guys over there here in a minute, but we'll finish this part up first. So here's the Enlil model, and this one here, guys. I'm gonna put this one in motion, and you can, if you guys ever go over here and you're looking at this thing, and you can pause that, you can actually grab this bar. Oh shoot! You can grab the bar. What used to be able to grab that bar. They must have changed that. Anyway, and you can put that bar wherever you need to. But right now, that's about right, actually. Let me grab the slide bar. It'll move it. There it goes. Okay, so we're about right there, right now. So in about the next day, it's saying we're going to have a density increase up here. Okay, up here in the top right here in the plasma density. The green line's the conditions at Earth. All right. Now, just like it's following suit, you know, density goes up, solar wind speed goes down. That's what happens. Usually. Not always, but usually. So here, we're going to have to watch this, because I do trust this thing a couple days out. And it looks like it's going to spike right there. So where did that come from? Well, let's watch the rest of the time lapse here. And, you know, these spiral graphs are good to look at, because you see this, you get a better idea than just an aligned graph. So you're able to see this kind of in a 3D motion. Now you see that coming off the sun right there. Where did it get that information from? And this is a good way to show you guys this. Okay, because I want you guys to understand this, because this is a good way to show you what happens when this thing gets new data. All right. So I'm going to stop it right about there. Okay. Now again, like I said, guys, I don't trust this thing out that far, and here's why. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Come on. What are we gonna do? Is it gonna do it or not? Man, I hate that. Let's do this. Okay, that's about the best I can get it, guys. Anyway, you see the sun down here? Look where my cursor's at. Do you guys see this right here? Watch when I push play. Alright? Watch right here. You see that? It's seeing something right now that's blowing off the sun. So, we're going to go look at the sun. Let me stop there for a minute. Debbie Gerard, good question. Anything we can do to protect us from the CMEs? It depends on what you mean by protect. You know, and it also depends on what kind of CME you're speaking about. We don't really need to do much unless it's more than like a G3 or a larger CME. Okay, a G level 3 storm, geomagnetic storm. You know, I showed you guys what those things do, but if we're going to get hit with a big CME and it's very, very powerful, there's not a whole lot we can do, Debbie. I just got to be honest with you. Now, you can take it to extreme, and you can take it to however you're comfortable, and that's where I would lead you to, okay? I would say, hey, do what you think's comfortable. But if you're asking my opinion, if we can do anything, if there is anything at all you can do what they call Faraday cages. You can do like EMP shields. There's lots of companies out there that sell those, and they protect basically your whole house. They will protect you against EMPs, electromagnetic pulses. Okay, and essentially that's what a solar flare is. It acts the same. Okay, so if you have one of those, and they're really, I mean, I think on the low end, I think they're like $200 or something like that. But I mean, if it's going to protect all that stuff, yes, they could be worth it. Do I have one? No, I do not. I mean, I'll just be honest with you, I don't. I do have a small Faraday cage, and what a Faraday cage is, it is basically the one I have is just a box that blocks all that stuff from getting to anything inside that box. And you can do that if you get on YouTube. You can actually find out how to make your own Faraday cage, but you got to do it right. The telltale test to see if your Faraday cage is working. Okay, what you want to do, you want to take, like, after you get it made, you want to put your cell phone in that box, okay, and call it. If it answers or if it picks up your signal, that means that Faraday cage is not working. You don't want it to do anything. So, yeah. So, okay, it says, would the shield help with pain? No. That shield's only going to kick in pretty much if we have one of those big flares and stuff. And all it's going to do is it's going to protect your electronics. That's it. But I have to say this too, and I've said this before. If you're going to protect, your smaller electronics like your computers, your cell phones, maybe some walkie-talkies or whatever, if you're using it to protect the stuff in your house, you better understand the fact that you need to protect the power source first, because all those devices you just protected are not going to work without a power source, because the grid will be down. If we get something like what we're talking about here, we do not have the protection on our infrastructure to protect against any of that. Okay, so that's the biggest fear. That's what we talk about. So you often wonder why, if they knew this back in 1859 when the Carrington event happened, after that, wouldn't you have thought they would have made some changes? But they didn't. So maybe they just didn't understand how often these things happen and how much we would become dependent on that electricity. And that's where it came at. So, yeah. What are you talking about there, Cosmic Confusion? It says, just getting here, wondering if you talked about the big fire in Cali that looked like a volcano. No, I haven't talked about that. Actually, I've not seen that. I heard about it. I just haven't had a chance to get over and check it out. So, yeah, and I get a lot of questions with the, before I even started doing my live streams on my emails and stuff. What can we do to prepare and all that kind of stuff? And there's just not really a great answer for that, because everybody's situation is different. I would just, talk to somebody. Survival groups are great people to talk to, even if you don't join one. I'm not a member of one, but I do trust what they say. They are a good source of information. Okay, they really are. They know what they're talking about when they're talking about trying to survive. If our grid and stuff goes down. And that's, they even say this, who's the first person they're going to come try to look for? It's going to be the people that know about this stuff. So the people that are out there making fun of you, pointing fingers at you right now, are going to be the first ones on your doorstep when they're hungry, because they ain't got no food because they didn't know what to do when the power went out. Just remember that, because it will happen. If all that, if we do end up getting the big solar flare and all that kind of stuff, yeah, that will happen. And it doesn't make it any easier or any better, or it's not a gotcha moment or I told you so moment. It's actually kind of sad, because if I have to sit there and look at my kids, and then I'm looking at somebody outside the door with their family, and they're asking me for food, and I have to make that choice, I'm sorry guys, but I'm choosing my kids every time. You know what I mean? And that would be a sad thing to have to do. And that's another reason why we do what we do here. You know, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring awareness so people can take care of themselves when this stuff happens. So, you know, and again, this is something else too. I would talk about this for a second too, and that would be that when this stuff does actually happen, again, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You know, where do you see yourself? Have yourself a little bit of a plan. Just have it in your head somewhere. You don't. I mean, it's good if you write it down and you do all that. I have mine written down. I have a couple different routes that I've given to my. You know, my son doesn't. One of my sons doesn't live here anymore. So I've given him stuff to where we're going to be. That kind of thing. That's important to me that I'm with my family. And, you know, but it's more important that they're safe. So that's where my mindset was with that. You know, what happens to one of us is going to happen to all of us. That's how I feel, you know, about my family. I don't, you know, I know this is going to sound really bad, but I don't want to be here without my family. That's just, you know, I don't know that anybody really would, so who knows, but yeah, that's a whole lot of opinion, okay, guys? That's all that was. That was my opinion on what I do with my life, that kind of thing. So everybody's different. Everybody has to find their own way, but we all need to listen to each other. And I've listened to people that were way smarter than me, and that's why I'm able to even do anything that I do. You know, sometimes we get into our own head and we get, well, frankly, we get egotistical. Okay? And you know, it doesn't lead into a great place. So just be willing. Have that open mind we always talk about, right? But yeah. So there's a Schumann. Nothing much going on with that. Okay, guys? There's space weather. Now we'll go over here to ISWA. And here's the sun right now. I'm going to update this because I was playing this about an hour ago. It's probably got some more images here. But the sun is still blowing stuff off, guys. Scott sent me a photo. Let me zoom in here. He sent me a photo from earlier, and that would have been, there was a CME that happened over here on this side of the sun, and it lit up an object. So, and you can see that the tail end of that kind of right there. Maybe we'll back that up a little bit more. Let's pause that right there. Pause, buddy. Apply. Okay. Okay, you see this right here, guys? You see all that happen right there? That was a CME, okay? That thing, the sun ejected there. It still is right there. And again, I do think that some of this is what's actually, yeah, see all that stuff coming off the sun? And this is actually showing you what I was talking about yesterday. Sometimes you'll see it blow off here, and it blows off down here at the bottom too. But it's actually, both of those are going to the same point. They're going to the same location. Why is that? You know, we got to ask that question, right? You know what I think. You know, our objects and stuff are out there pulling this stuff off. It's causing the sun to react. So, you know, that's just my opinion again. I'm not the only one that shares that opinion, but... And you see these little areas here. Those are a lot of those are filaments. Some of those are filaments, and they're dancing around. I actually showed you guys one of those yesterday. But this down here too. I'm going to go ahead and take this one back to the most recent capture because this over here is actually it's leaving the sun. Okay. At least from what I can tell. Watch it right here. It looks like it's getting ready just to pop off because it looks like it starts to separate. So, now whether it does all the way or not, if we go over here and look at the 304, you can see that same filament. Now, isn't that cool? That's all I got to say right there. I mean, that right there just it's awesome. Awesome stuff to look at. To know that right there, what you're looking at, you could fit 5 or 6 Earths in that thing. That's how big that thing is, guys. So, yeah. Let's see what it does here. Yeah, I look for that thing just to go ahead and bust off the sun here in the next few hours. I would be surprised if it didn't. Now, we do sometimes see them come up that far, and they don't always actually go out into space. Actually, you can kind of see some of this material. Watch it. You'll see it kind of suck back to the sun. Let me zoom in a little bit more. That's as far as I can zoom in. You see it kind of getting pulled back? Watch. Hope you guys can see that. You can see it getting pulled right there, even. Okay? And that's what it does. All those are charged particles. Okay? And they're following those magnetic connection lines. So when they decide, or whenever they do what they do, finally they just blow out. Now if you look up here, you've seen this one, this little one here in a second, you'll see it kind of shoot off. Watch right in there. I'll leave my cursor there. Right about there. See that? That little eruption? And it wasn't much, but it was something. The sun is doing something right there. And when those things get really big, those would be the flares and the CMEs and all that. Now, you guys got to understand too, though, back in the day, they didn't have a separate term for CME and solar flare. It was all the same. So now we know it's different, right? And it does make a big difference on what we're talking about and what we're actually going to experience. Because again, we get big, solar flares. There's no warning for that, okay? Now CMEs are different. Like you just had the question there, guys. Okay, Debbie, would you ask that time? Says, can a CME hit the Earth so hard the Earth's rotation speeds up? I don't know. This is what I would say to that. I would say that if we're going to get hit from a CME that's going to be that hard that it's going to change our rotation, that would probably be the least of our worries. And I'm not trying to be condescending or anything like that with that comment. I'm really not. I'm being serious here. If we actually got hit with something that hard that it changes the rotation of the Earth, the speed of it, what would happen right along with that would probably be so severe you're not going to care if it changes the speed of the Earth. So I guess the answer to that question would actually be, hey, yes, it probably could, but it would be such a large CME, powerful CME, that, yeah, I don't know that you'd want to be here. So I don't know if we could be here. These guys, they always say they're going to go underground. We talk about the underground stuff that happens. We know that that's the truth, right? We know that there's stuff under the ground. We know why they moved the headquarters and stuff out to Denver. I mean, we know all this stuff. This is not even a secret anymore. I don't think they even try to hide that stuff hardly anymore, because so many people have talked about it and have made other people aware, right? Now, they might try to hide it a little bit on the surface, and they don't just come out and blatantly say it. But they have an underground stuff going on. Now, do you think that would actually be the best place to go? I often wonder that, because, I don't know. You put me underground, and then you start having a bunch of stuff happening above me. It stands to reason that, things are going to collapse. That's all I'm saying. And we know that like I just showed you guys a few minutes ago, with the earthquakes and stuff, all that energy's coming in, right? Where's it going? It's going to the core. What's it got to pass through to get to the surface? Well, if they're underground, it's got to pass right through them. So it's going to be moving and shaking and everything else there too. And probably more so. And guys, that's the other thing too. There are so many things about our planet There's so many things about space that we just simply do not completely understand. We still have not been to the center of our own planet. But yet we're talking about a star, a big ball of nuclear fusion stuff out there 93 million miles away. But we don't even understand what's actually right underneath our feet. And they'll tell you that. You know, they theorize what stuff can be. They can get really close to what they think it is. I'm sure that they can. You know. But the fact of the matter is, nobody's ever drilled down. Nobody's been able to get down to our core for nothing. Okay? So, take that for what it's worth, you know. You know, it's like even our oceans, guys. We've not even touched the vastness of what's actually out there in our oceans. There's probably so many awesome creatures out there and species of things that would blow our mind. You know? But we don't, you know, we're too concerned with all this other stuff. And maybe we should be. But, you know, just like you have to look inward to yourself to fix things sometimes, maybe we need to do that with our own planet. Maybe we need to look inward in our own planet, maybe go down instead of up. Who knows? That's just, you know, like I said, I ain't saying we need to do that, but, you know, maybe that's part of the answer. Maybe we'll find a lot more answers if we started looking at our own planet first. Because sometimes we tend not to do that. We'll go straight out to the worst thing out there that's coming from somewhere else. Well, maybe what we need to worry about is right here. Just saying. Okay. Let's, Oh, I was going to take you guys over to SDO. Let me take you guys over there real quick, okay? Let me get up, let's go, let's get this out. Guys, you see what I'm doing here? I want you guys to watch me here, okay? I went to Google. It's a Google search, right? Just put, where... Let me take the caps lock off. Probably didn't need to do that, but whatever. Where is SDO? Okay, that's all you gotta do. Okay? Hit enter, obviously. Okay, and it takes you right to it. Solar Dynamics Observatory, SDO. And it'll tell you right here what SDO even is. Of course, that's according to Wikipedia. But we can go right here. SDO, Solar Dynamics Observatory. We're going to click on that first one and see where it takes us. Yep, that's exactly where I thought it would. So what are we looking at here? Well, this is the SDO homepage, guys. You know that all those pictures of the sun I was just showing you, this is the actual source web page for that. Okay? Now we can go this here. This is what's cool about this site, because you can just start toggling through all the different stuff it's got. That's the latest capture, okay, of the SDO right here. But what I want to show you guys, and you can actually go down here too and click these little bubbles, and it'll take you wherever you need to go that you want to go look at, right? So, but what I really want to show you guys is over here on the right. Okay, it says, where is SDO? You see this right here? Let's click on this little tab, and it's going to take us, and it's going to show us in a very clear way what the satellite's doing, what position it's in, and why we see the odd looking stuff that we see sometimes. Okay, so what you're looking at here, this is the satellite. This is real time, guys. It's showing you right now what's going on. This is where it's at right this second. And it's always, like you guys have heard me say this satellite always looks at the sun. No matter where the Earth is at, no matter where the sun is at, no matter where the moon is at, this satellite will always look at the sun. So let me zoom in a little bit. And actually, I probably could have... Let's do this. Hold on. So, if you look right here, you see this beam? Right there. You see that? the sun went, you can see the sun kind of dip in right here. Watch. See it? And see the Earth? Now, if that had kept going, the Earth might have blocked that for a minute because it's the eclipse season for the SDO. Right? That's that satellite right there. So, if we go to this one, this is kind of, it's basically, you're looking at this as if you're stationary, standing on this satellite, and everything else is moving, and not you as a satellite. You know, this does give a little bit of perspective on what we're actually, you know, looking at here. But you can see the velocity. Now, something else I want to point out. You guys see all these little stuffs all over this thing? Those are all the different cameras and stuff. There's so many things on this satellite. It's crazy. So you look at this, and again, it's giving you other angles and things. Now, this is the one I want you guys to see. Okay? Do you see the SDO right here? It's showing you. This is in geosynchronistic orbit. What does that mean? Geo, that automatically makes you think Earth, right? That's what that word is telling you. It's in a synchronistic orbit with Earth, okay? This satellite will always be over top of this exact area all the time, okay? It's not going to come over here and go over here out into the Atlantic Ocean at any time. It's never going to be over the Atlantic Ocean over here. It's always going to stay in this figure 8 pattern with this section of the Earth. So it's as if this thing is attached to the Earth by a string. You could kind of think of it like that, I guess. Right here. So what that means is that sometimes this satellite is on the dark side. That means that the Earth will come in between the satellite and the sun at certain times. So it'll block it. It looks like an eclipse. That's exactly what it is. And you know, we fight this as a lot of people don't understand, and that's why I'm trying to explain it now. Because people freak out, you know, and you rightfully should. If you looked up and the sun in a satellite capture went halfway and then actually stopped and then went back the same way it came from, wouldn't that freak you out if you didn't know what you were looking at? What's happening is when that happens, okay, do you guys see this right here? This little bend right here. It has to be at the exact time, okay? A whole lot of things got to fall into place to see that actually happen. So this satellite we'd have to be in the right rotation, okay? We'd have to be in the right, you know, the Earth would have to be in the right position, rotational wise, at the same time the SDO is here while it's trying to look at the sun. And it caught it right when it was going to start going back the other direction. That's why it goes about halfway into the sun and then shoots back out the same way it came from, because of this figure 8 pattern. Now the other satellites, I don't know if they do a figure 8. I don't think they just find a spot and stay there. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think that they do. I think that they're in geosynchronistic orbit, but they're probably having a pattern of some sort too, just like this is. Okay? So get that back down. Okay. But this one for me, this one right here, is actually the one that actually made me understand it. Because, I'll tell you what, let's just do the last 48 hours. Which that's what it's showing you, I guess. But you can see where the sun is. You can see where the eye of the satellite is. And it helps you understand. And so it does answer a lot of questions for people, guys. So, let's just exile that. Go back to this. Okay. Let's check out this real quick. This is the Geoelectric field model. It's the one that shows us the electric, the space weather effects on our electrical grid. This is that duo one I was showing you guys yesterday. You You know what, guys? That's the other thing here too. Right now, for whatever reason, anytime we try to access a NOAA site, everything is running extremely slow. It could have something to do with space weather. I don't know for sure, but it could. I'm not saying it does or doesn't. But the fact of the matter is that, yeah, stuff is running slow. Let's see here. Push play. Is it trying to load or not? Okay, there it goes. Okay. What you guys are looking at here, and I think I showed you guys this yesterday, I can't remember. But do you guys see that right there? Watch. You see how we getting those big pulses right there? Guys, that's solar weather. Okay? Even though we weren't really supposed to be getting anything, we did get some faster solar wind right there. Whatever that was. So we're going to go back and look at the ACE data, okay, here in a second. And then we're going to check that out, because I don't know yet. I haven't looked at it. But as you're looking at that, you can see that this graph over here on the left, this one, that's the experimental one. It's basically showing you the same stuff that's going on over here on the right, but that's more of a three-dimensional type of thing. They're trying to get that tool up and going better. This little blocked out area you see down here is because they just don't have the data in that area yet. They're still working on that. But I think this is going to be a really good tool for us once they get this thing actually, you know, up to par. This one over here on the right has already served a really good purpose. It gives us a really good idea of what's actually happening right above us right now. Okay? It gives you a very good visual of what happens when solar wind does impact us. And that's, you know, because ultimately, guys, that's what we want to know, right? We want to know how this solar weather is going to affect us, like in real time. And that's what you're looking at here. So just, you know, to answer a couple questions here, you know, we get caught with a big CME, we get a big solar flare. Okay, this thing is going to light up. And it did it once before, and Troy, he's got a station too. He does radio work and things. And he caught this thing, and we'd never seen it do it before. It was actually showing purples and whites. We took a big blast hit, okay? And right after that, it wasn't 5-6 hours, earthquakes started popping off. So it was, you know, again, solar weather helping with those earthquakes. Let's go ahead and close that out. Let's go ahead and update that and see if it got anything new. Looks like the earthquake stuff kind of has calmed down a little bit. We're not really getting a whole lot here. And that's good, okay? I mean, that's really what we want to see, right? So, yeah, so we got this going on here. I don't know that there's a whole lot of anything else going on as we're talking here. Now, I know, guys, again, this was just kind of thrown together. I really wasn't planning on doing this, but I figured with those earthquakes and stuff, you guys might want to hear and talk about it. I do enjoy trying to answer some of you guys' questions. So if you guys have any questions, let me know here in the next couple minutes here in the chat. And I'll see if I can't help you. Hey, what's up, birthday? Yeah, dude, hey, good work over there, man. I'm glad that you can help people out over there, man. You know so much about that Schumann tool, man. Wow. If we all had that knowledge of how that thing actually works, and that's what our goal is, we're all going to be better off once we understand that a little bit better. So thanks for the work you do, man, because it definitely helps me understand it better. And I want to say this too, guys. I've said this a lot. I learned so much more from you guys than I could ever show you. And I'm not just saying that. That's actually the truth. You know, like I said, 3 years ago, I didn't know anything about any of this. Yes, I was a science buff. Yes, I like to look at weather and stuff like that. I worked on machines, so I'm technically driven. I know how to look for stuff like that. But my point is, I didn't really know the specifics about any of this. You'd asked me what SDO was 3 years ago, I couldn't have told you. I just couldn't. So thank you guys for all the time that you put in here too. You know, those of us doing channels, the guy, you know, we wouldn't have a channel if you guys weren't watching. You see what I mean? So we're all important to this, and I think that, you know, as we're all growing here, I think that it most certainly becomes more and more evident every day that is actually what's going on. We need each other more than we've ever have in our existence. I have to say that, you know. And yeah, guys. Well, I'll share something a little personal with you guys. I've shared it before, but you know, you guys know I have neck and back issues. Well, with that, I actually got addicted to opiates, and I've been in treatment for over, gosh, 7-8 years now. But you know, I've never relapsed or anything like that. But I say that because, guys, it's easy to do, but this, you know, the whole opiate thing is something that, you know, we could have the discussions about, and it's not really appropriate for my channel, but I say that because that was hard. That was hard for me. And some of this knowledge and stuff that I've been gaining from looking at this stuff has actually helped keep my mind off certain things. And you guys are a big part of that. So thank you. That is something that has kept me, you know, if I have something to keep my mind focused, I don't think about that kind of stuff. My wife is my best friend. I can't say it enough. You know, if it wasn't for her, you know, there wouldn't be no me, just to be honest. I'd have been gone a long time ago. You know, my family, they stepped up. I have a great family. Such a good support system when it comes to stuff like that. You know, she had every reason just to kick me to the curb. But she did the opposite. She pulled me in closer, and it was just something that, you know, it's special. It really is. You know, love becomes something, it actually changes. Your definition of love will change. Anybody that's young, as you get a little older, you'll understand that. I know you will. It becomes less and less about the physical attraction. It becomes more and more about what's actually going on in your mind and how much you care about each other. Because you don't think you could ever care for somebody any more than what you can at that time when you get married and all that other kind of stuff. But let me tell you something. You can love harder and harder and harder. There is no limit to that. I promise you. You know, like I said, she had every reason just to, when I did, you know, I only abused I abused the opiates for like 3 months. I went from taking 6 pills a day, Norco 10s, to 60 a day in 3 months. It just grabbed me that fast. And I don't know why. I don't even, you know, I took one extra dose at work one day, and that's all it took, guys. Really. Before I knew it, I was like, what am I supposed to do? You know, and I was the guy that never even smoked weed in high school. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It just was. I just get, you know, it was so out of character for me to do something like that. And when it did finally grab me, and I'll share this with you too. The day that I got, you know, the day that it was, I needed help. And what basically my rock bottom was, I put my son in the car with me. He was he was almost 18. And I drove probably about 35 miles in a blizzard to buy 10 pills off of somebody. And I wrecked on the way home. That was, yeah, nobody got hurt or anything like that. But it was enough that it shook me. And when I got home, my wife was actually at the back door. Where have you been? And I didn't know what to say. So I just let it all out right there. And, you know, I guess the rest you could say is history. Other than this fact, okay? This is something that I'll never, ever forget. And this is something that I hope somebody can actually love you that much. I really do. This is my hope for everybody. You know, I went to in-house rehab for like 5 days. And my wife knew that my family was the most important thing to me. And that was probably my biggest fear, was losing that. It was my biggest fear. and she could see it in my face, I guess. I don't know. But as we're saying our goodbyes and all that, and I'm getting ready to walk back up into this rehab facility, she actually grabbed my hand and, you know, she pulled me back to her and said, listen, you know, we're going to be here when you get out. That's all it took for me. That was it. At that very second, I knew I was going to be alright. And, you know, and I think that she just knew I needed to hear that. So I didn't ask her to say it. She didn't have to say it. She had every reason to not even be there. So my point there is, guys, all this stuff we talk about, there's stuff there to fight for. And that's what we're doing. And, yeah. So that's what I would say. Sorry about all that. I know it's a little sappy crap, but, you know, that's, you know, I haven't had a whole lot of chance to talk to you guys ever, actually, just in the comment sections and stuff. And I shared it in a video once. I did a video a while back. I guess I could take you to that if you wanted to watch it. But, yeah. It's called My What If Right Now. That's what the video's called. If you guys wanted to check that out, you could. I would say everybody needs to do that. You know, we sit here and we talk about, you know, if anybody doesn't know what a what if video is, that is what we do as YouTube creators, especially bigger ones. We'll make a video and we will post it to upload in like 3 days. Okay? And what that video is telling our loved ones how much we love them and we're sorry, you know, for leaving them. Right? And what I'm talking about there is that if we, you know, we can change the date on that video. That video will only release if we're no longer here. It's called a what if video. And it's our last word, just as if we would be speaking from beyond the grave. Okay? But, you know, my thing is, why do a what if video? Why not do it right now? Why don't I want the people I love the most to know it right now? Why do I want to wait? And that's where I came with that, and that's why I did what I did with that video. It was my what if video right now. I want people that I love to know it, and I want them to know right now. You know, I'm not going to get a chance to talk to them once it's too late, right? None of us will. So, Starry Night. Oh, I'm sorry about that, man. Or girl, woman. I can't tell. I can't see the icon there. You have to specify there. If you're a man or a woman, yeah, that would be hard. Yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you. That most definitely would be hard. I couldn't imagine, guys. I mean, honestly. And, you know, guys, that'll bring you to a whole nother subject with the opiates and all that kind of thing. We might talk about that at a different time, but that right there, oh my gosh, that is just something that, you know, like I said, I was on those pills, guys, for almost 8 years. Never abused them one time. But you know what? After about 30 days of being on those pills, I was addicted and didn't know it. And that's where it comes from. You know, you have to understand that, because most people that are out here that have become addicted to whatever, that is never anybody's intent. Never. But when it happens and you turn back and you look and you're like, well, how did I get here, man? How did this happen to me? It was so, number one, it was so out of character for myself, but I'm talking about everybody else. That's how powerful that stuff is, guys. Withdrawal, and there's no other way to say this, and I hope it don't offend anybody, but withdrawal's a bitch. I mean, that's just what it is. You know, when I actually tried to, because I'm still currently on Suboxone. I've been on Suboxone for, you know, a little over 7 years now. And, you know, again, everybody has their own path to what they need to do. And for me, that right there is it. It has, you know, it keeps me from withdrawing. I don't have any cravings or anything like that. I don't get high from it. And that's what I want. I don't want to feel that high. Because if I do, I'm going to want to go get it again, guys. And I'm just being honest. And I think if anybody's honest, when they look inside, they're gonna, you know, you're gonna sit here and you're gonna figure out that everybody likes to be high. You know, it's just what it is. Everybody likes that feeling of euphoria, and that's what it gives you. It gives you an overdose of the dopamine, pretty much. Hits off certain receptors, and you get a big rush from it. And then once that's gone, you know, some people it makes you in a depressed state, as far as makes you lethargic, makes you want to go to sleep. For me, it was the opposite. Like I said, guys, I was taking 60 pills a day at the end of that. And I was swallowing 20 of them at a time. And I was functioning. Nobody even knew it. I'm serious about that, guys. Nobody even knew it. Not until that day I took and went and, you know, drove in that snowstorm. That was the first day anybody knew but me. And we all have our own moral lines we won't cross. And for me, I would never steal. Okay? That's where mine was. I knew that was one thing that I would never do. And I never did. Now, I would sell my stuff because I did it a couple times to get some pills. But I would never ever, you know, like steal like that. And I ain't saying that people do. You know, when you're in that state of mind, you just don't even know what you're doing. Because you justify it. You justify it in such a hard way that it's actually rational to you in that moment. It's ridiculous, but that's how you start thinking. You start thinking, whoa. Oh, I'll just go over here and I'll do this and I'll pay them back tomorrow. Or I'll do this or I'll do that and this will work out this way. Well, guess what? No, it never does. Not even one time. But you're justifying it in your mind because you don't want to have to fight that craving or fight that withdrawal. But that's what you're doing, right? But, you know, I'm sorry. This isn't even about space weather. I apologize. I probably shouldn't even be talking about this. But we're going to look at this. We'll look at this, guys. Check us out. I'm going to look at this is the Magnetosphere model, guys. This is the one right here. And because of what the geoelectric field model was showing us, I'm going to look at this because I guarantee you we're probably getting hit pretty good. So we'll take a look at this and see what this shows us. The sun's over on the right. I'm going to pause it. Grab this bar here. Okay, so right about here at 7.3. Okay, you guys seeing that right there? Look at that. Boom. Yeah. Took some, looks like we took some sort of solar wind hit right there. It's not a big, huge, or magnificent one or anything like that, but that's definitely some energy. And you can tell, guys, that it did come from the sun because watch the bow shock out here in the front. It'll compress, and then we'll push back against it. It's called compression and rapid expansion. Boom, and we push them back. You see that right there? It's a good example of it. Okay, it looks like bouncing, okay, but what's actually happening is it's getting compressed in, and we're pushing back against it. See? Okay, so if you ever see that kind of stuff, that's normal. All right. Also, guys, what you're looking at here is a two-dimensional model, and I know I say this a lot, but I need to say it every day probably, because you know the magnetosphere is pretty much more like a donut that we're in kind of in the middle of. It's three-dimensional, so stuff comes in on the poles a lot easier. So when you see stuff like this, and you watch this yellow, see the yellow and stuff build up in the back, the yellows and greens? That could actually be on top. See what I'm saying? If we're looking at the sun from the top down, I'm not saying that's what we're doing right here, but if we are, that energy is right there on the top, right? So if you tilt it 90 degrees, which is what we're looking at here, it could be on the top, the side, or wherever. It doesn't necessarily have to be like exactly in the back right there. It could hit us and go over top of us coming towards us like that. I know it's hard to understand. I probably just confused a whole bunch of people right there. But it most certainly is what you're seeing. We'll take a look at this real quick, see what this one's going to show us. Guys, I used to take the time out to show everybody how to click these buttons and get to whatever we're getting to here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to make some playlists on that, so people can go and they can learn how to look at these models, at least know how to navigate to get to them. I think that's beneficial. I know it was beneficial to me when somebody was trying to help me with that. And it was also frustrating when I couldn't figure it out. And believe me, yeah. And I have to say, guys, you know, Scott has spent multiple hours with me trying to help me understand this stuff and trying to say, hey man, check this out, this kind of stuff. He sends me stuff all the time. And he's, you know, guys, he's a good friend of mine now. And you know, I have nothing but respect for him, and he really does. He really tries to help me. And I think that, you know, we kind of have gotten to the point now where we're looking at a lot of the same stuff, and we can help each other, you know. And we see that a lot. So, you know, I know what my strong points are, and he knows what his are, and I know what his are for the most part. Like a lot of the stuff, I'll send it over to him before I even bring it out to you guys. So I want his opinion on it, and he'll help me understand what I'm actually looking at, or he'll run it through his programs for me, his filtering stuff and things like that. He'll take a look at that for me and tell me what he thinks it actually is. So, yeah. So props to him, man. You know, I'm serious. Patience. Man, that's one thing. Patience and thick skin. That's one thing. He taught me for sure. Yeah. You know, that's one thing, guys. You guys step out and do videos, you can expect to get attacked. So, yeah, Exiled, sorry about that. That's Scott Sion. He's at Planet X News. Maybe I can drop might be able to drop a link. I'll put it in the description, guys. I'll do that a little bit later here. Well, hold on a minute. Maybe I'll find it real quick. Give me a second. Oh, yeah, I'll give you guys a link there. I mean, because please do go over and sub up and check him out, guys. You guys will see some really crazy captures. He's been in this for, you know, for so many years. Yeah, he's got so many videos you guys can learn from. It is yeah, can't say nothing else other than that. I mean, yeah. Let's see here. So we're going to go there. That's probably not the one I want. Sorry, guys. Give me a second here. Apologize about that. Yeah, this is the one. Okay. Hold on one second. Share. Oops. Copy the link. Alright. But yeah, guys, he's taken me under his wing and helped me understand so many things. He's given me so much of his time, and it's just, I didn't expect that from anybody, to be honest with you. There you go, guys. There's a link to his channel. Go sub up to it. Give him a lot. You know, go check him out. If anybody hasn't so far, most of you guys already know who he is. Anybody usually, you know, we kind of share subscribers now, pretty much, a lot of the times anyway. But yeah, so let's give the earthquakes one more look here. Okay. Well, we got another one here, whatever that is. That's a 4.8. It's in the same area, guys. So I don't know what's going on there. We could be having a lot going on there. Keep in mind, guys, I just showed you we were getting hit with stuff, right? So this could be the straw that's breaking the camel's back when it comes to letting these earthquakes pop off. It probably most likely is. it's adding just that amount of energy that it needs to. So yeah, let's look at that real quick. Let's let this thing update. See what this thing gives us when it updates. See if it'll sometimes, guys, you'll come on here and it'll update on its own and everything else, and it'll just it'll blow your mind when it comes back on, because it'll show you something you didn't expect to see. Okay, so we're looking here now. I can tell you this: you see all this stuff over here? That is very, very variable speed wind. It's fluctuating. Okay, from fast to slow, fast to slow, fast to slow. The density itself here is doing the same. The phi angle up here, which actually the phi angle actually can cause, just because of what it actually can do, it will it'll jerk us around a little bit magnetically, and it can cause some earthquakes to happen pretty quick like. The temperature here is here in the green, and obviously, guys, usually when one of these is doing something, they all will. Now, if you get on here and you ever see one of these data points, like the solar wind speed or the density or whatever, it's going crazy and nothing else is, you might want to stop and look, because sometimes that's a big clue that one of two things is happening. Either there's something big going on, or it's a tool flaw. Usually that's what that ends up being. But it's always good to stop and making sure, because again, like say you've seen all these little normal signatures, and all you've seen was one little section here on the solar wind speed that was going all jacked up. You should stop and look and really try to figure out what's going on with that, because again, it would that's what I would do. But like I said here, guys, remember on this one here, I do think that this model is showing us that, because at the end here, it takes it, remember, 3 to 5 days for a CME to get here. So 3 to 5 days after right now is when? Let me show you. Right there. Okay? So, if it's saying something's going to be here in 3 to 5 days, it would make sense that they're showing it coming off the sun right now. That's what this model is showing us. So there might be some sort of an ejection coming off the sun right now. It most certainly looks like that according to this Enlo model. You know, they won't do that unless it actually gets some data to tell it to do that. So let's do this real quick, and then I am going to let you guys get off here. I'll get out of here real quick with you. Let's do this. I'm going to go over here, and I want to show you guys SDO, not SDO, but Soho. I meant to do this earlier, because this is what we look at, obviously, guys, when we're looking at looking for CMEs and stuff. Oh, great. I'm glad that this is doing this right here, because I want to show you guys something. I can clarify a lot of questions I get right here. And that would be, you see this box right here? That is nothing more than a glitch. Okay? They're not putting that there. That's actually a default that the camera will do. Okay? Is this corrupted data is all that is, okay? And why I say that, and I know there's a lot of passionate opinions is how I'll word it on these kinds of things, okay? And I get it. I really do. But like I said yesterday, guys, I think I was talking about it before, we really have to understand that not everything is, you know, a lie. Not everything is. A lot of it is. I mean, a bunch, or I wouldn't even be doing this. But some of this stuff, like this little box right here, you know, it's only there for one capture, number one. Okay, I'm going to push the movie tool here, and we'll watch a little movie of this thing. And we'll see what it does, but back off. For some reason, this thing's running real slow. Again, you know, hey, when we're getting solar weather, things start running slow. It's the truth. It's actually what happens. It starts affecting everything, guys. That's exactly what we would expect. But let's just do this real quick. And I know I've had you guys here way too long. I apologize. I'm sorry when I start talking about that whole that whole getting addicted thing and all that. I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't even have brought all that up. That isn't really what my channel's about. But I do like the people that when they ask me questions like that. I do like to share a little bit of personal stuff because I think it's only fair. You know, I'm asking you guys to listen to me. So I think that it's only fair that you guys would want to know a little bit about it. You know, if you're wanting to know, I'm going to tell you. So let's do this. I'm gonna back that out a little bit, zoom it out a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna grab this slide bar and we're gonna watch this because check this out, guys. Now I want you guys to watch in here and over here because we're getting CMEs one after the other. Okay, look at the left. Watch when I move this. See that? Now look on the right. Okay, here, look on the left. Boom. Look on the right. Boom. Then a bigger one. Okay, you see that right there? That's the one the CME tracker showed. Okay? And then on the left again, watch. Boom. And that's where we're at right now. Okay? So, and I'm looking at this and I've learned that sometimes when we see these little, like one or two little bright sections right here get really, really bright, in the next hour or two, sometimes we'll see the CME pop off because this is the sun. The surface of the sun is the white circle. That red disk is nothing more than it's a false eclipse for the sun, so the camera doesn't get overexposed. If that wasn't there, we couldn't see anything. It would just be solid white. Now I know you guys are noticing all these little white dots too. Those are probably little meteorites floating around. Okay. They could be charged particles, they could be cosmic rays, all that kind of stuff. But most likely right here what we're seeing is probably that we're going through a little bit of a debris field from whatever, right? Whatever comet came through 100 years ago or something, I don't know. But that is what I do think that a lot of times that's what we're doing, right? And especially if we're going to, you know what, did I ever take you guys over here? I meant to do that earlier and I don't think I did it. Hold on a second. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is spaceweather.com, guys. Please go over and check these guys out. This is their website. You get a lot of good information. Well, they're saying again, solar minimum conditions are in effect. Okay? 17 straight days now, guys, with no sunspots facing Earth. But you know what's odd about that? We are still seeing CMEs. So the sun's still active. So yeah, it most certainly is active. Sorry about that. I got a little. I was reading a comment. Starry Night. Hey, don't say sorry. Seriously. You know. We all feel how we feel, right? We can't help how we feel. We can't. That's a misconception. If we feel a certain way, we can't help that. It's just how we feel. What's going on, BK? How you doing in there, man? You rocking it out over there on your channel, man? Ouch. Man. So what we got here? We got Noctilucent clouds. You guys know what that is? There's a lot of theories on what causes those. I can tell you what the official reasoning we see these Noctilucent clouds. There's actually a Noctilucent cloud season, and it would be the summertime in each perspective hemisphere. Okay? So the northern hemisphere in the summertime, we would see these on the North Pole. Southern hemisphere, summertime, we would see these towards the South Pole. They're blue clouds, okay? They're high up in the ionosphere. They're higher than any typical cloud that you see, okay? And they kind of look rippled or kind of wavy. What they say that this is it's actually water droplets that kind of form ice around meteor dust that's still in our atmosphere on the poles. That's what they say these things are. Okay? It does make sense if you look at the science behind it, but it also doesn't all at the same time too. But it, you know, I'm not going to dig too much into that because I'm not sure it matters a whole lot, if I have to be honest. It's a neat thing. It is a phenomenon that they at least tried to explain. And you know, in a situation like this with Noctilucent clouds, I don't see any reason to try to steer us in a different way other than what it actually is. So I really truly think that's probably what it is. I do know that we do carry more meteor dust in our atmosphere around our poles. That is a complete, you know, that's a data point. That's something that we all know that happens. Okay, so you know, that is what they say that is. So you know, again, I'm not going to say it's 100% on that, but I'm not going to say that it's something else either. But they can tell us when that stuff's going to happen. It happens pretty much in the, you know, summertime in each perspective hemisphere. So you'll see them like die out. They will. Okay. But then you got this. This is a crazy anomaly that they actually are able to at least somewhat explain. You know why they can explain this? Because they can reproduce this in a different setting. They don't have to have the sun doing this to show you what this is. They can show you with other, actually in a lab, they can show you what this is doing. What this is they call it a pancake sunset, okay? And I haven't even read this article. I probably should. But what you're seeing is difference in temperature, okay? You're seeing stuff getting sandwiched in between two hot sections, colder in the other. And that's what's bending the light in such a crazy looking way right there. Okay? So that's pretty much all. What's it say it is here? It says remarkable video. It says, what's it say here? The air is sliced into layers of different temperature. Okay? With cold air sandwiched between warm air. Yeah, that's exactly what I just said. The layers act like a waveguide, ducting the sun's rays. Short ducts give 3 pancake-like mirages. So it's a mirage, basically. Okay, it's really not even there. It's a mirage. it's stuff it's light getting bent and sandwiched in between two different drastic temperature changes. Okay. Guys, light can be a very, very crazy thing to try to understand. There's so many things that can affect it. The biggest thing that I want to stress when we're talking about light, the light spectrum itself, I'll show it to you in a different in a different stream, but the light spectrum itself, we see so little of the complete light spectrum with our eyes. That's why we have to have stuff like, this, okay? That when I say 193 angstrom, I'm pointing out a specific light, an angstrom, on the light spectrum. So it's filtering everything else out but that 193. It's letting you see the 193 angstrom on our visual spectrum, right? Now remember, they can put whatever color they want on this. I showed you guys how they do that on stereo A. The 171 is blue. On SDO, the 171 is yellow. So they actually assign that a color. But the biggest thing is we see the gas. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at whatever gas shows up on the 193. That's what you're seeing. So if we look at this a little deeper now, look at this, guys. This is I actually like this anyway. See the coronal holes again, guys. Coronal holes, coronal holes, coronal holes. For the most part, coronal holes is what gives us our continuous solar weather, our space weather. Okay, when we're talking about solar storms and things like that. More times than not, we're talking about a coronal hole that's shooting solar wind to us. Okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. So, you know, when we do get on here and talk about CMEs and stuff, that's why we should pay a lot of attention to that, because this is stuff that we would expect. CMEs and stuff we cannot predict. Now, they are starting to see precursors and stuff to these kinds of things. Okay? So eventually that's the goal, to be able to say, hey, you guys need to pay attention because the sun might have a CME in a week or something like that. But it is still so unpredictable that these sunspots will pop up and go away within like 6 hours sometimes. I've seen it happen. I actually seen the thing pop up a sunspot. It blew a flare and a CME with it that put us into a G level 3 storm. It was crazy. And then the sunspot went away. Like, I'm talking like 2 hours after. It was nuts. But we don't have to have a sunspot to have ejections off the sun, guys. It can do it whenever it wants. So, but yeah. Alright, one more check of this and we will get out of here. It seems as though we are still having some stuff over there. Guys, those aren't small. Look at those. Those are 4.8s and 4.7s. After we had the big rash of all these other ones. You know, now that would be expected. Okay, you get bigger ones, and yes, a lot of times the smaller ones kind of follow with whatever direction that energy was traveling. But that's kind of what we're seeing. Now, keep in mind too, guys. Look where these quakes are. They're right there on the red lines, aren't they? For the most part. So we know that that's kind of a normal thing. You guys kind of heard me talk about the Cascadia subduction zone a minute ago. Remember I said this up here? If we started getting real bad stuff up here and that it finally happened and you know, the west coast got redefined. Well, guys, there's something else too on the other side here that most people aren't aware of. You know, there's a volcano yeah, it's a volcano over here. Okay? And if that thing was to slip off like they think it's going to eventually, when that slides into the ocean, I might have to do some more research on that, but I can't remember the name of it. But when that thing slides into the ocean, it will shoot a tsunami that will completely wipe out our east coast and, you know, down in South America, Cuba, all the way up here, guys. They even say that it might even affect England. So, you know, these are the kinds of things that we really need to look at and understand that this stuff can happen at any time. That's how fragile it is. And, you know, for the most part, people that are not looking at what we're looking at here, they don't understand that. They're just kind of in the dark like we all were at one point. So when, you know, just think about this for a second. What if you lived in, like, I don't know, let's just say you lived in the Ozarks where you're going to be safe, right? For the most part. That's supposed to be one of the safest places you can be, right? In the Ozarks. So say you're there and, you know, you hear on the news, oh my gosh, we got this huge tidal wave coming because that thing fell over here, right? You're not going to freak out because you already know what they're talking about. What if you didn't? And you didn't know anything about what we're talking about here, but you were in the Ozarks, right? Well, you might get so scared, you might leave the Ozarks. Why? Because you didn't know it was the safest place to be. So that's what I'm trying to say. That's why we need to be aware. That way we make better decisions. You know, and that, again, guys, that is what it is. I wish that we all had the answers for everything like this. I wish we had more answers. I wish we were able to see, you know, stuff from like Stereo B that's out here that we don't get data from anymore. You know, I think the writings on the wall, they don't show us everything, and that's what's caused us all to get to where we're at. You know, Okay. We are going to end it. I'm actually getting tired. Sorry, guys. Let me back off here a little bit. Let's just do this. Let's just minimize that. So yeah, guys, I'll try to come back on probably later on tonight. That would be Monday night. I may try to come on a little bit earlier. I'd like to, try to hit a little bit different time zones there, so more people can step in if they want to and ask questions or whatever. But you guys got any more questions right now? Well, it's good to see you, Johnny. I'm glad you're here. Back at you, Brian. You too, man. Stay strong. Do you, brother. Do you. Yeah. Yeah. I know that. I don't know why I do it. It's just a habit. Platonia. It really is. It's just a habit. Why? I don't even know why. Yeah. Oh. Thanks, Johnny. I really appreciate that. KC, what's up? Mark, have a great week. Yes, we will. We're going to try. IEX, Watchwoman, what's up? How you doing? I think you got a channel, don't you, Watchwoman? You guys should go check it out. I would, recommend everybody go over and check out Brian Knight. He's got a channel, guys. Check him out. Anybody's got a channel, guys, don't be afraid. You can put it down there in the link. I don't care. If you can. I'm not sure if you can drop a link unless you're a mod, but I don't, you can say, hey, your channel and whatever, please come watch, that kind of thing. Just don't spam it all the time. I guess that's more of an annoyance for some people when they come in here. Or any chat room they get into. You start seeing a bunch of spam, somebody just blatantly just talking about their own stuff on somebody else's channel. I actually don't mind, promoting yourself a little bit there, because I think the more stuff we can look at, we can get to better stuff. So, man, I tell you what, my eyes, whew, guys, don't get old. Well, yeah, please do get old, because what's the alternative? Taking dirt naps, right? Anyway, let me put my glasses on here. Red in the Valley. Yeah, yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that, guys. Toluca. Yes, EMPs can happen from this phenomenon. Yes, they can. That's kind of what we're... Yeah, Starry Night. Yes, thanks for being here. I didn't see. Did you specify if you were a man or a woman? I couldn't really tell by the comments. Starry Night could be it's hard to say what gender this is. What gender you are? Sorry, I don't mean to offend you if I did. I just want to know so I can address you the right way. The cure for old is yeah. Oh, what is that? Tello. Okay. I'm not even gonna. What's up, Kay Klein? Thank you. I really appreciate that. Carrie, how you doing? Good to see you. Lindy Kaz. Need a channel for lonely people that need support. Lindy, come on now. We got we got friends here. You can talk. I'm sure a lot of people here would talk to you. Yeah, Good to see you, Ash. Good to see you, Annie. Watchwoman. Yep, see you there, Christina. Guys, there's been a few of you guys that have been here since, the beginning of my channel. A lot of you guys have seen me kind of morph into what I am now, which is either good or bad, depending on your point of view. What I would say, guys, I've had a lot of help. Okay, and there was, only, you know, there's only been a couple people that's actually taken the time out for me. And obviously one of them was Scott, and he spent so many hours with me. I guess what I'm saying is you don't understand how much time it does take to actually try to understand this in a way where you feel comfortable enough, you know, at least trying to help others see what you're actually seeing. It does take quite a bit of time. And I got to say thanks to all those, you know, Scott for doing that for me. You know, he really has brought me along to the point where I can look at these tools. You know, even if, you know, guys, even if we don't agree with each other, okay, being able to understand what the tool is trying to show us is worth gold, worth its weight in gold. Because if we know what that tool is trying to show us, and that's where the biggest thing is, right? Is understanding that. Because if you can understand that, then you can understand the bigger picture. And that's why I've been sending you guys over to Verte's channel, because he understands what that human resonance is actually showing you. And yes, some of the stuff that he's talking about is, yeah, it seems pretty like big, you know, like a whole bunch of technical jargon that it's going to be hard to understand at some level. But he puts it in such a way that you can understand at least the basics at first. But he still talks to other stuff too, because all of that's important. And sometimes the hardest thing to understand is the best thing. Anything that's going to be easy in life typically isn't something that sticks with you. If you have to like really pay attention to understand, like, well, the Schumann tool, you're not going to forget it ever. So that's what I would say to that. So yeah, guys. Listen, yeah, I'm glad to see you guys are talking to each other. I love that. I mean, you know. Yeah. So, guys, I am going to get off here. And thanks again, guys. I really appreciate every one of you. You know, I'm up over 40,000 subs now. I never thought in my life I would ever get there. I never even had a goal like that, ever. You know, I look around YouTube and stuff. I would like to be one of those very few that actually gets to like 100K subscribers and doesn't monetize. I'd like to know how many people out there are like that. I don't think there's very many of them. And would they send me a play button? I don't know. 'Cause I ain't making them no money, because there's no ads on my channel. So, anyway. Alright, guys. God bless. Yahusha saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.